Hello, my name is Michael O'Keefe, aka The Movie Wist. If you enjoy this interview and want to hear more top-notch film industry conversations, please press the thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell to stay in the know. Hello, Kelley and Angelique Molina. Why do you think people will enjoy your movie? I'm fine. Thanks for asking.
It's an adventure. It's a journey. It's it's relatable. I think folks will definitely understand this journey of desperation, loss, but also hope.
I 100% agree. And on top of that, it's fun. There's roller skating. There's I like to liken this film as it reminds me of the Odyssey. There's just she's trying to make it home, and there's all these characters that get in the way of her journey. And so if you like those types of stories where it's a goal to get to one place, but a lot of obstacles to get there, then this is definitely a movie for you.
That's a really cool description. So Kelley, having co-written, co-directed, and playing the main character, how attached are you to this character?
Honestly, I think if I was only acting, then yes, I think the character would have lived with me longer. Because that happens when you're acting. You're with the character before, during, and after. You kind of have to decompress from it. But because we were working so hard, so fast to hit these really short deadlines that we were aiming for festivals and such, and we were wearing multiple hats, there was no time to really stay in any character, because you had to put on another hat. There was no staying. You didn't stay in the director's character all the time. You had to switch to producer, and then you had to switch to writer, and then you had to switch back to actor. And, so there's a lot of hat changing that didn't really allow for me to linger too long.
Okay. Angelique, there are 3 credited writers of this project. How do y'all go about writing this scripts?
Phone calls.
Okay.
We said, it was in time of COVID. So, otherwise we would get together, but we got on the phone. We got on the phone and outlined and, talked about what we wanted and made it work. But yeah, it was a fun journey with that. Yeah.
So it would be kind of like, someone would write some scenes and then you talk about it and like edit it like that.
So it was really just talking about like your ideas, and if we, agreed with where the story should go, then we'd continue with it, and then we all just kind of throw out ideas. Like nothing was too crazy, obviously. We would just throw out ideas and be like, oh yeah, that works. Oh yeah, I don't think she would do that. Well, maybe she would do this if she did this. Like, so everybody would just kind of chime in of where we wanted her to go next. But it started off with definitely like an outline, and then it made its way into coming to life.
Okay.
Yeah. We definitely, when we first started it, we decided we were going to Sean Baker this, and in regards to having to guerrilla it, grab it, get it done, a lot of improv, because from the moment that we decided to start on this journey, this feature film, we were picture up 2 weeks afterwards. So we beat out an outline. And although while we were shooting, Angelique and I would write out the scenes for the next day. So it did get written. It didn't start that way. So we did a very different approach in how we write. So as Angelique has said, that's how we got the outline together. And then it continued to evolve. It was a very organic, living thing was our script and our story.
And ever changing.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the wardrobe in this movie. There's some great costumes. So how much time went into that? Let's talk about that for a minute.
Danny's character, there's time. There was definitely effort into Danny's character. Well, that's not true. We had color schemes in our head for sure. Yeah. Danny's more specifically, but we like told, so specifically Danny, that is actually the cover art for a friend's music, who happens to have some original songs in our film as well. And so that was like part of her character of like, this is a band that she likes, this is a group that she likes. But it also was playful and fun because of the colors. So it kind of lent to the moment in the beginning with her daughter to be like, hey, do you want to wear this? Do you want to wear this? You know, it was very strategic. We definitely wanted Danny to be comfortable because she was going to be skating all around town. So, you know, obviously the shorts played into that. But the shirt was definitely a decision made, you know?
Yeah. And and for to add on to the color scheme that Angelique was talking about, so yellow represented in the film family, and then the pink represented indecision. So there's parts of the film where she loses her yellow shirt and she's solely in pink, and that's usually where she has to make decisions, and she's indecisive. And then the danger colors, the problem colors, were greens and blues. So whenever you saw green or blue coming into play, something was about to happen. So if you see Brooklyn's character, she's in this green dress, and like there's so a lot of these colors are planted as best as we could throughout the film.
Okay, well, that's really interesting. And we talked about the music. I wanted to get to that. Tell me about the original music in this movie and how integral it was to capture the vibe of the movie.
Oh, totally. I mean, we listened to one song of our friends and we were like, oh, this has to be in the scene where she falls into the water. Like that was it. And that was the decision made for that. He was kind enough to let us use it, and we moved on and we're like, well, what about this song? And what about that song? And it kind of just piled on to this almost soundtrack to the film. And his friend / a mutual friend also was able to help us compose it, to kind of bring it to life again too. So music was very intentional, and a huge part of the film for sure.
And this artist, Woo Woo in the Clouds, is the music we did, and his partner Eric. The music was already there, except for Eric's composition, but a lot of these songs already existed, and it just so happened that just Woo's tone to the of his natural music style just fit our storytelling, and it just happened again organically like that.
Yeah, like moments where she was down, moments where she was in transition, moments where there was a little bit more hope and excitement and you know, optimism. There was a song for all of that.
Yeah. Lucky us.
Lucky us, exactly.
Nice. What's it like to shoot a movie during coronavirus?
I could start it off. As you can see, the majority of the movie's outside. So one of the more challenging things that we faced was sound. Our poor production sound, Brian, he struggled a lot because the city that we chose to shoot in, which is my hometown, it's noisy. There's a lot of sirens, there's dogs, there's people, there's cars honking. It's very noisy, but we had to shoot majority outside because of the coronavirus to keep the crew safe. We had a few indoor situations, and you would see in the movie, if you pay attention, there's only a few people in those scenes. Yeah. So we had to adjust accordingly. And one of our biggest struggles was capturing sound outside for a narrative feature, which is not as forgiving as documentary. You know, you're capturing real, like, live places with real people, and of course you want to keep the sound as great as possible, but it's a little more forgiving. Whereas narrative, you expect it to be perfect and crisp, and so it was that was a big challenge for us.
I can just imagine that it's really annoying.
It was definitely not.
I can just see it being more difficult.
We definitely, you know, just having to get tested, like we made that a priority. So we're like, everybody has to get tested multiple times.
Yeah.
We didn't have craft services on set. We literally were, you know, trying to get costumes together, but also sitting on the living room floor, putting snacks and hand sanitizer and masks in tote bags to give to everybody individually so that they didn't have to go to a table and touch each other's food. Like little specific things like that we just have to deal with. But there was also things that lent itself to like help out the story. So, you know, Kelley has skated all her life. We all love to skate. We all have a good time. But, you know, she had skates like prior to the pandemic.
Yeah.
She, you know, she loved to skate and she grew up around that. And that was a tool that we used to have her, her transportation, because we were not going to have the character order an Uber or get on a bus or, get a ride from a friend, because that was more time in a confined space with more people. So for the safety of others, we had her rolling around outside, and it was kind of a double thing where it's like, yes, Kelley loves to skate. And then also like, it's helpful that we can have her be outside most of the time on her skates.
And visually, it was great juxtaposition to the area that we were in, because in my hometown, nobody roller skates around that city. So it was already just weird, which was what we wanted to go for.
Yeah. So tell my audience about producer Dion Cole.
Mm-hmm. Dion is my writing partner. So we've worked on other projects before. And so when Angelique, Roma, and I started on this one, he came on board along with our other producing partner, Capella Fahum. And so Dion actually, with his scene, it wasn't originally in the film. He had like read through what we had, and he was like, so you mean to tell me this girl's skating around this city in biker shorts all day and nobody's tried to holler at her? So then he basically brought a little more male perspective into the script, and then he blessed us to participate and play that character, which really the character has a through line throughout the film through Brooklyn's character. It just really worked out, and even though it was added, it was at the top before we started shooting, but we had already kind of like outlined it, and then he came in and just added that nice touch to it, which really brought life to the film.
Nice. The man has a lot of followers on Instagram too, I noticed.
Oh yeah, he's a very famous comedian. He has his specials on Netflix. He's on Blackish. He's on Grownish. He used to write for Conan. He's got a lot of projects coming out, so his following is definitely going up because he's so busy.
Everybody needs a good laugh, right?
Yeah. Oh, right now, especially comedians are like the doctors right now of our time.
Definitely. So, what were some movies that subconsciously or consciously influenced this movie?
We were just talking about that.
Just talking about it.
Yeah, because we both loved Life is Beautiful, and when the character and it was mother-daughter relationship and the hiding, and maintaining her innocence, and that was something that immediately we were both like, oh yeah, for sure, like that is something. And even if it doesn't thematically match or like tonally, it was definitely something that was thought of and very purposeful when we were writing it. And agreed on that we were like, yes, this is like a mother protecting her child's innocence.
Yeah. So that was one of our main inspirations. Visually, we pulled on quite a few films, but like for execution, we pulled on Tangerine. For the way we wrote our script, I pulled on a Friends film that was at Sundance the other year called A Boy, a Girl, a Dream. By Qasim Basir and Samantha Tana Basir. And they basically wrote an outline and then had Megan Good and Amari Hardwick improv the whole movie. And so I was like, oh, okay, this works. I've seen it work. We could do this too. So yeah, there was quite a few films that inspired us, but Life is Beautiful definitely was for the story of just pretending that everything's okay to protect the innocence of a child.
Which is what a lot of people were doing during COVID. I live with my nephew and my sister, and, kids are processing, like nobody wants to explain a pandemic to a 4-year-old, 3-year-old, or even just children in general. Their lives were shifting drastically all of a sudden. They were at home on computers with their teachers, like things were shifting. So I think people right now, and people were losing lives and losing a lot. And I think parents and just folks in general were doing all they could to kind of protect the innocence of the children, and in this time that's not normal.
What's it like to co-direct a movie?
So we we collaborated with just feeding off each other, just talking about our ideas. And, you know, when she was in the scene, I would direct, and when she wasn't, I wouldn't. And like, you know, it was just a balance of like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Okay, cool, let's do this. Like, just, you know, talking it out.
And then Angelique and I have worked with each other in different capacities, not necessarily co-directing. There's been projects that she was cinematographer on, because she's also a DP. And I was producing, and we met at University of Southern California for our master's in film. And so we've spent a lot of years together, knowing each other's workflow and all of that. So really we're able to just bounce off of each other because we have that history.
Well, Kelley and Angelique, thank you for your time. Before we say goodbye, tell me about your feelings about having the movie in South by Southwest.
Man, we are so excited. This festival is the perfect festival to premiere at. We're really, really excited. Yeah, I guess just excitement and just ready, you know?
It just goes to show that anything can happen, because Michael, when I say that I just woke up one morning and then called my girls and then reached out to Dion and them and was like, let's make a movie.
Yeah, it was a
and
why
then
not,
we did
right?
it. It was a why not. And I remember Angelique when I was like, and if we don't nail it, like if it's not a good feature, we'll just cut it down into a really good short.
Why not?
So for it to be at South by, and there was a lot of we just pulled on a whole bunch of friends to do this, you know, and a lot of people gave their time to this film, and so to see it be at South by Southwest is just phenomenal, and it really speaks to the talent of the crew and the team members that believed in us and believed in this little idea, and now look at where it is. So to any other filmmakers who are out there who are debating whether or not they should just do it and just make the jump, because you don't know. We applied cold to South by. We didn't have anyone making any special calls or doing any special. It was a cold submission through their website, picture lock. Didn't even have color, sound, VFX, titles. Didn't have anything, and they saw us. You know, they saw what we were trying to do, and they rocked with us. And so it really just goes to show, like, do it, just do it, because you never know. So yeah, Michael, we are beyond excited to be a South by.
Well, congratulations. It's a lot of fun. I watched it this morning, and you don't know what you're going to get into when you start these screeners.
No, you don't.
It was a great way to kick off the day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for taking the time to watch it and talk to us. It really means a lot.